गजानना पार्वती नंदा गजानना मोक्षिण वाहन गजानना मोक्षिण वाहन गजानना मोगन हस्ता गजानना मोगन हस्ता गजानना पाहि पाहि गजानना पार्वती नंदा गजानना पाहि पाहि गजानना
पार्वती नंदा गजानना
सिद्धि विनायक गजानना सिद्धि विनायक गजानना लंबो गजर गजानना लंबो गजर गजानना पाहि 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 गजानना पार्वती नंदा गजानना पाहि पाहि गजानना पार्वती नंदा गजानना 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 हे गजानना गजानना हे गजानना 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 सिद्धि विनायक गजानना सिद्धि विनायक गजानना लंबो गजर गजानना लंबो गजर गजानना 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 ओम गम गणपतये नमो नमः श्री सिद्धि विनायक नमो नमः अष्ट विनायक नमो नमः गणपति बाबा मोदिया ओम गम गणपतये नमो नमः श्री सिद्धि विनायक नमो नमः अष्ट विनायक नमो नमः गणपति बाबा मोदिया ओम गम गणपतये
नमो नमः
सिद्धि विनायक नमो नमः अष्ट विनायक नमो नमः गणपति बाबा
मोरिया
ओम गम गणपतये नमो नमः श्री सिद्धि विनायक नमो नमः अष्ट विनायक नमो नमः गणपति बाबा मोरिया ओम गम गणपतये नमो नमः श्री सिद्धि विनायक नमो नमः अष्ट विनायक नमो नमः गणपति बाबा मोरिया ओम गम गणपतये नमो नमः श्री सिद्धि विनायक नमो नमः अष्ट विनायक नमो नमः गणपति बाबा मोरिया ओम गम गणपतये नमो नमः श्री सिद्धि विनायक नमो नमः अष्ट विनायक नमो नमः नमो नमः श्रीसिद्धिविनायक नमो नमः अष्टविनायक नमो नमः गणपति बाबा मोरया ॐ गं गणपतये नमो नमः श्रीसिद्धिविनायक नमो नमः अष्टविनायक नमो नमः गणपति बाबा मोरया ॐ गं गणपतये नमो नमः श्रीसिद्धिविनायक नमो नमः अष्टविनायक नमो नमः गणपति बाबा मोरया ॐ गं
गणपतये नमो नमः श्रीसिद्धिविनायक नमो नमः अष्टविनायक
गणपति नमो नमः गणपति बाबा मोरया ॐ गं गणपतये नमो नमः श्रीसिद्धिविनायक नमो नमः अष्टविनायक नमो नमः गणपति बाबा मोरया ॐ गं गणपतये नमो नमः श्रीसिद्धिविनायक नमो नमः अष्टविनायक नमो नमः गणपति बाबा मोरया ॐ गं गणपतये नमो नमः श्रीसिद्धिविनायक नमो नमः अष्टविनायक नमो नमः गणपति बाबा मोरया
गणपतये नमो नमः श्रीसिद्धिविनायक नमो नमः अष्टविनायक नमो नमः गणपति बाबा मोरया
गणेश शरणं शरणं गणेशा 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 गणेश शरणं शरणं गणेश गणेश शरणं शरणं गणेशा गणेश शरणं शरणं गणेशा गणेश शरणं शरणं गणेशा गणेश शरणं
शरणं गणेशा
गणेश शरणं शरणं गणेशा गणेश शरणं शरणं गणेशा गणेश शरणं शरणं गणेशा गणेश शरणं शरणं गणेशा हे गणेश शरणं शरणं गणेशा 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 गौरी गणेश उमा महेश पार्वती नंदन श्री गणेश गौरी गणेश उमा महेश पार्वती नंदन श्री शरणं गणेश शरणं गणेश शरणं गणेश शरणं गणेश शिवानंदन गणपति गणेश शिवानंदन गणपति गौरी गणेश उमा महेश पार्वती नंदन श्री गणेश गौरी गणेश उमा महेश पार्वती नंदन शरणं गणेश शरणं गणेश शरणं गणेश शरणं गणेश शिवानंदन गणपति गणेश शिवानंदन जय 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 गणपति देवा जय 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 गणपति देवा जय 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 गणपति देवा जय 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 गणपति माता पार्वती पिता महादेवा माता पार्वती पिता महादेवा माता पार्वती पिता महादेवा माता पार्वती पिता महादेवा गजानना हे गणपति देवा गजानना हे
गणपति देवा
जय 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 गणपति देवा जय 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 गणपति देवा जय 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 गणपति देवा जय 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 गणपति देवा जय 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 गणपति देवा गजानना हे गजानना गजानना हे गजानना गजानना हे गणपति देवा गजानना गजानना हे गणपति देवा गजानना हे मोरिया रे बापा मोरिया रे मोरिया रे बापा मोरिया रे हे मोरिया रे बापा मोरिया रे हे मोरिया रे बापा मोरिया रे मोरिया रे बापा मोरिया रे मोरिया रे बापा मोरिया रे हे 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 मोरिया 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 रे मोरिया 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 रे हे मोरिया रे बापा मोरिया रे मोरिया रे बापा मोरिया रे हे 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 मोरिया रे बापा मोरिया रे
प्रेम से बोले श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। Like Devin, let him come and do a song now.
जय गणेश देवा माता तेरा पार्वती पिता महादेवा माता तेरा पार्वती पिता महादेवा जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा देवा जय गणेश देवा जय गणेश देवा देवा जय गणेश देवा देवा माता तेरा पार्वती पिता महादेवा जय गणेश देवा देवा माता तेरा पार्वती पिता महादेवा माता तेरा पार्वती पिता महादेवा जय गणेश देवा देवा आधे चारे फूल चारे और चारे मेवा आधे चारे फूल चारे और चारे मेवा जय गणेश देवा देवा एक दंत दयावंत चार भुजा है जारी एक दंत दयावंत चार भुजा है जारी जय गणेश देवा देवा जय गणेश देवा देवा जय गणेश देवा देवा जय गणेश देवा देवा जय गणेश देवा
प्रेम से बोले श्री गणेश भगवान की जय। प्रेम से बोले श्री गणेश भगवान की जय। Children of God, putting the hands together, closing the physical eyes, you concentrate and meditate upon that divine master, asking for guidance and protection. We all pray. Om गजाननं भूतगणादिसेवितं कपेतजम्बूफलसारभक्षणम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारकम् नमामि विघ्नेश्वर पारपङ्कजम् या देवी सर्वभूतेषु सरस्वतीरूपेण संस्कृतं नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वर गुरुर्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। नागेन्द्रहारं त्रिलोचनायां भस्माङ्ग्रगाय महेश्वराय नित्याय शुद्धाय दिगम्बराय तस्मै नकाराय नमः शिवाय। ॐ अञ्जनीगर्भासनमुखो वायुपुत्रो महाबलः कुमारो ब्रह्मचारी च हनुमान मे प्रसिद्ध मे। ॐ भूर्भुवस्वं तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गदेवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहना भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति 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 हरि ओम। प्रेम से बोले श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। नमो महादेव शंभो नमो सदाशिव जय परमेश्वर जय भुवनेश्वर जय शिव शंकर। नमो महादेव शंभो नमो सदाशिव जय परमेश्वर जय भुवनेश्वर जय शिव शंकर। महादेव गौरी मनोहर हर शिव शंकर हर हर महादेव गौरी मनोहर हर शिव शंकर दुख हर ले कर सुख भर दे कर जय शिव शंकर
महादेव शंभो नमो सदा शिव परमेश्वर जय भुवनेश्वर जय शिव शंकर
हरे
महादेव शंभो नमो सदा शिव जय भुवनेश्वर जय शिव शंकर
पार्वती शंकर गंगा जटाधर करुणा शंकर पार्वती शंकर गंगा जटाधर करुणा शंकर नीलकंठधर अलिकेश्वर जय शिव शंकर
नमो सदाशिव शंभो नमो सदाशिव जय परमेश्वर जय भुवनेश्वर जय शिव शंकर नमो महादेव शंभो नमो सदाशिव जय परमेश्वर जय भुवनेश्वर जय शिव शंकर
जय शिव शंकर नटराज सुंदर हर हर शंकर जय शिव शंकर नटराज सुंदर हर हर शंकर जय डमरूवर जय कैलेश्वर जय शिव
शंकर नमो महादेव शंभो नमो सदाशिव जय परमेश्वर जय भुवनेश्वर जय शिव शंकर नमो महादेव शंभो नमो सदाशिव जय परमेश्वर जय भुवनेश्वर जय शिव शंकर
जय
शिव शंकर जय शिव शंकर
प्रेम से बोले श्री शिव भगवान की प्रेम से बोले श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। गजाननं भूतगणादिसेवितम् कपितजम्बूफलसारभक्षणम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारकं नमामि विघ्नेश्वर पारपङ्कजम् या देवी सर्वभूतेषु सरस्वतीरूपेण संस्कृतं नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः या देवी सर्वभूतेषु पार्वतीरूपेण संस्कृतं नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः ॐ गं गणपते नमः ॐ गं गणपते नमः ॐ गं गणपते नमः ओम श्री गणेश भगवान की जय। ओम गं गणपते नमो नमः सिद्धि विनायक नमो नमः अष्ट विनायक नमो नमः गणपति बाबा जय जय गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय जय गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय 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 गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय जय श्री गणेश जय जय भगवान जय श्री गणेश जय जय भगवान पार्वती बोले हे पिताजी नल ने गणेश का यहाँ व्रतम क्यों किया जय जय श्री गणेश नल कौन तम जय श्री गणेश बुद्धे बताल ये गणेश जी विशाय कथान को सुनाने से मेरे मन को विश्राम मिल रहे हैं। जय श्री गणेश जय जय भगवान।
जय श्री गणेश जय जय भगवान।
हिमावन भोला प्राचीन काल में निषिद्धादेश मैनाल नाम का महान राजा हुआ था। जय श्री गणेश जय जय भगवान। वहाँ ब्रह्मंडा ब्रह्म पूजकम वीर वेतम धनी मुनि धनी और गुनी रथ में वैता कर जने वालम कंधगावानम। जय श्री गणेशम धनुष तथा निरपंकम धरण करने वाला कवच धरणी करने वाला बलशाली अस्त्राभिद्यम मैं निपुण देवो द्वार पूज दिया तीनों लोक को मैं अवगम ना करने वाला तथा सूची रहिते वालता। जय श्री गणेश जय जय भगवान।
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 प्रेम से बोले श्री गणेश भगवान की जय। Children of God, we commence this evening's katha. And as we commence this evening katha, we are going, as I told to you last night, I am going to do katha with you this evening. Prem se bole Shri Ram Chandra Bhagavan ki jai. So my dear friends, Parvati, that divine mother of the universe, is asking of Hemavat, the mountain king, and he's saying, who is Null? And why did he perform it? Why did he perform devotion to Sri Ganesh Bhagwan? Tell me, O Father. Because my mind relaxes when I listen to these kathas. Prem se bole Shri Ram Chandra Bhagavan ki jai. So devotees and friends, our katha continues and it tells to us, once there was a great king of the Nishadas, and this great king name was Null. My dear friends, Null, who was devoted to the Brahmins, he was versed in the Vedas, he was a hero, generous, highly esteemed, he was a wealthy, he was very wealthy, he was a great warrior, he had chariots, he had a sword, he had bow and arrow. My dear friends, he was well armored. He was honored by the gods, this great king, my dear friends. And he had great qualities. Qualities, my dear friends, that would send the rest of the world silent. So everything that this king had, he had it. He had no fear. He had no fear, my dear friends. His wife named Damayanti was an abode of beauty, and she was called Damayanti because after subduing all things and taking the best parts, Brahma created her. So she was the daughter, the mind-born daughter of Brahma. Damayanti, my dear friends, represents the loveliness. She was all that a woman would like to depict. Damayanti had those qualities. My dear friends, she was furnished with great ornaments, adorned with a variety of jewelry. Her neck was always sparkling with pearl necklace. She shone with beauty, and she was also rich in good qualities. And I want you to listen, my dear friends, as Himanchal is telling to us. Yes, she was rich with everything else, but she was also rich in good qualities. She was rich in good qualities. This great king, Nal, his excellent minister, the courageous Padmahansa, was equal to Brihaspati in intelligence. So devotees and friends, something happened, and we will now hear what happened. Jai Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganapati, Jai Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganapati, Jai Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganapati, Jai Shri Ganesh, Jai Jai Bhagavan.
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 उस राजा नले का प्रदम्हस्तन नाम का अमत्या महान पराक्रमीता जय श्री गणेश, जय श्री गणेश, जय जय
भगवान।
वहाँ ऊंचराई में मेरो के समान जय श्री गणेश, तथा गंभीरत में समुद्र की समानता जय जय श्री गणेश। जय श्री गणेश, जय जय भगवान। जय श्री गणेश, जय जय भगवान। किसी समय में वहाँ महामान राजा संभागृह में उपस्थित राजाओं की जय श्री गणेश भगवान समूह के माध्यम में भेटा हुआ तम उस समक्ष सुंदरम स्वरूप बाली दर्शन निध्या आप सिरजाम नित्य करे रहिते ब्रह्मारती गयो से युक्त उस राजा की स्तुति बंदी। जय श्री गणेश
जय जय भगवान।
जन कर रहे थे उसी समय गौतम मुनि उस राजा की पास आए। जय श्री गणेश भगवान। राजा नल ने उठकर उनको आधर के साथ सुख धाम आसन में बैठा था। जय श्री गणेश जय जय भगवान। ए जय जय गणपति
जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय जय गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय।
प्रेम से बोले श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की। So devotees and friends, what happened now? It says that in that lovely atmosphere, it says that Raja Nal then decided, my dear friends, to enter into the great chambers where all was there awaiting him. And so, my dear friends, as he entered there, he entered with a great amount of love in his heart. करके स्वीकार प्रभु मेरा गीत अमर कर दो। बन जाओ मीत मेरे, ये प्रीत अमर कर दो। करके स्वीकार प्रभु मेरा गीत अमर कर दो। इस महिमा में जग में है लाखो यहाँ बंधन, तक हर गया हो मैं सकर के ऊट प्रिदम। आया हो द्वारी तेरे, मेरे जीत अमर कर दो। करके स्वीकार प्रभु मेरा गीत अमर कर दो। मन रूपी बिना की तारे टूट गए, जो आशा तीन से मुझे वो आशा छूट गए। जनकृत करके उनको संगीत अमर कर दो। संगीत अमर कर दो, मेरा गीत अमर कर दो। करके स्वीकार प्रभु मेरा गीत अमर कर दो। करे दो। प्रेम से बोले श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की। So devotees and friends, our katha continues this evening, and it says that great king Nal entered his assembly, and so he sat down amongst the midst of circles of kings. And my dear friends, he had a very nice evening of entertainment taking place, music and everything else. And in the midst of that, my dear friends, Gautama Rishi came in. Gautama Rishi came in, and from the time the king saw Gautama Rishi entered, he jumped up immediately. He stand up, my dear friends, and he reached out to meet with Gautama Rishi. This, my dear friends, this is honor. This is devotion to the divine person. You see, as Gautama Rishi came, remember, and this is the reason why, my dear friends, the writer have given us so much a description of Raja Nal, to show us how rich he was, to show her how powerful he was physically and materially. But my dear friends, when the divine soul walked in, when Gautama Rishi walked in, everything that was happening in that hall stopped immediately. I wonder if some of you are having entertainment in your home and your guru should walk in. What will be your position? Because what will be the type of music playing? What will be the kind of dance taking place? And Rajanal had all of that happening, my dear friends, in his hall at this moment. But yet still it was such within, it was within a category that the great guru walked in, the great sage walked in, and he had no fear. Immediately he stand up, he ran out to the guru, fell at his feet, hold the guru's hand, and bring him straight, Gautama Rishi, the great sage, bring him immediately to his own seat. Gautama Rishi was given the seat of King Rajanal in the hall. He didn't tell him bring a next chair. He didn't tell him bring a next seat and fix it up. No, he gave him his own seat. And this is how divine people should be treated, my dear friends. Divinity and divine work should be treated with a great amount of respect. Prem se bole Shri Ramchandra Bhagavan ki jai. So devotees and friends, I want the world to know that the divine people also accept this respect and make it look like respect. Yeah. We take what is disrespect and make it look like respect. Prem se bole Shri Ramchandra Bhagavan ki jai. So my dear friends, what followed and what happened? It says here that Rajanal, what was his words when he saw the guru come in? Jai Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganapati, oh! Jai Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganapati, Jai Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganapati, Jai Jai. Jai गणेश जय जय भगवान
जय श्री गणेश जय जय भगवान
नल बोले हे स्वामी हे महामुनि आपके दर्शन से मैं अनुग्रहिता हुआ है जय श्री गणेश जय जय भगवान
जय श्री गणेश जय जय भगवान
आज मेरे जन्म रज्याम पिता माता कुले तथा जीवन सफल है गया है जय श्री गणेश जय जय
भगवान
हे महामुनि अब आप अपने अगमन का कारण शीघ्र भात लावे ए गौतम बोले हे राजन तुम्हारे वैभवा की देखने की मेरे मन में महाती अंक ख्याति स्वर्गा में स्थितं ब्रह्मं इंद्रा विष्णु शिव अधिदेवता भी तुम्हारे स्तुति करते हैं जय श्री गणेश जय जय भगवान जय श्री गणेश जय जय भगवान
जय श्री गणेश जय जय भगवान
प्रेम से बोले श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की devotees and friends Raja now spoke to Gautama Rishi and he says I am favored by your appearance, O great sage, O Mahamuni. It says, now my birth and my kingdom, my mother and my father, my family, and my life becomes fruitful. I have now reaped the fruit of life. Devotees and friends, such is the greatness when a divine person enters your home. When a divine person enters your home, my dear friends, wherever you are, you should get up and get there and meet with that divine person. Do not send the children. This is not our teaching. This is what this great king, this great wealthy king is teaching us here this evening, how to treat our gurus when they come to our home. You know, because the guru makes it so important. The guru have given you such a common ground. The guru have made you feel that okay, very comfortable to speak with him and to meet with him. That does not mean to say that you can disrespect the guru. This is the great sage, this is a great king and a great sage. And here they are showing to us, my dear friends, the meeting of both of them. So my dear friends, quickly now, O great sage, tell me the cause for you coming to our home. I want to know if there is a reason for you coming to our home, O great king. Please tell to me, as I would like to know. प्रेम से बोले श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय 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 गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय 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 गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय श्री गणेश जय जय भगवान। तथापि तुम्हारे द्वार की गई पूजा, ऐसी तथा तुम्हारी वैभवा को देख कर मैं विशेष रूप से तृप हुआ हूँ। जय श्री गणेश भगवान। जय श्री गणेश जय जय भगवान।
जय श्री गणेश जय जय भगवान।
अब मुझे अनुमति प्रदान करो, मैं आपने आश्रम को जाऊंगा। जय श्री गणेश जय श्री गणेश जय जय भगवान। नल बोले हे वीरम वीधर्घ वीरतम सर्वाशास्त्रम प्रवर्तका ब्रह्मन् हे दयानिधान मुनि। शरण भर रोकर मेरम संशयाधूरम करें। ए जय जय गणपति
जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय जय गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय।
गणेश भगवान की। Devotees and friends, and Gautama Rishi, my dear friends, have then asked of Raja Nal. He says, "Oh Raja Nal," he says, "I came here for one thing only, Can anyone tell me, make a guess, and tell to me what the great king," a little worry what happened, did I disrespect, but we respect that. Prem se bole Shri Ramchandra Bhagavan ki jai. So my dear friends, I want anybody tell to me what you think Gautama Rishi came to Raja Nal for. Dinesh. Remember, he's a rich king. What do you think Raja Nal, Gautama Rishi came to Raja Nal for? Huh? Assistance. Anybody have any other thing except that he came for assistance? Nobody yet feel or you know what he come there for? Well, let me tell you what he came for. Raja Nal Gautama Rishi told to Raja Nal, he say, "I just come here to see your wealth. I know you are a very wealthy king and I just come to see your wealth." How would you believe now Raja Nal would behave? Because the king ain't asked for nothing, but all he said that he come here for, he come to look at your wealth. I come to look at how much you have. No, sorry, he didn't say how much you have. He said, I come to have a look at your wealth, at your treasury. Devotees and friends, this is Gautama Rishi, a great sage, who have just got the highest honor. How would you believe Raja Nal will now treat with him, Ravi? I want somebody, make a little suggestion to me. I will tell you how he behaved. But I want you in your mind, because I haven't told you how Rajanal behaved. I want you to tell me how you think Rajanal will behave. Munesh? Remember, this man asked now to see all the wealth, you know. How you think he will behave? Huh? Might panic? All right. No, Rajanal didn't panic. He didn't panic at all, at all, at all. Let me tell you all. Rajanal, my dear friends, you know, if someone come and tell Dinesh, you know you had the best kurta here. I want to see your kurta a little bit closer. Dinesh, what you going to do, why? Isn't it the ego going to grow a little bit? Rajanal didn't allow his ego to grow. He told to him. He said, "Oh Maharishi, oh great saint, you say, I myself does be very happy to look at my wealth. But I just question myself, oh great Muni, how I happen to get all of this wealth. He said, I just question myself. And I want you, oh great sage, I want you to tell to me how I got all this wealth. I want you to tell me that." And my dear friends, so actually here, what happens? The great king is telling to the Rishi, the Muni, he says, "Yes, I know of the Vedas, I know of the Brahmins, I know of the Sastras. Stay a moment and remove my doubt." He said, "I myself have a great doubt, O great sage, O Mahamuni. Please tell to me. I want to know how I happen to get all this wealth." And so, my dear friends, tell me truly who I was in my previous birth. And so, my dear friends, the great sage now started to tell to the king of who he was and how this happened to him. And I want to tell to you, my dear friends, what you want to be into your next life, you have to prepare it in this life. Prem se bole Shri Ramchandra Bhagavan ki jai. Jai Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganapati, Jai Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganapati, Jai Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganapati, Jai Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganapati, Jai Shri Ganesh, Jai Jai Bhagavan.
जय श्री गणेश जय जय भगवान।
राजा बोले, हे ब्राह्मण, मुझको भी आपने वैभाव को देख कर विस्माया होता है। इस प्रकार का मेरा व्यवहार किसे पुण्यम से अथवा किस टपा के प्रभावा से हुआ हूँ। जय श्री गणेश जय जय भगवान।
जय श्री गणेश जय जय भगवान।
आप यथार्थां भात लई की मैं पूर्व जन्म में विराट वने। जय श्री गणेश जय जय भगवान। मुनि बोले गोध देश के परे अगले देश में पीपल नाम का पुर में तुम पूर्वक जन्म में एक धरिद्रा क्षत्रियाते तथापि तुम ज्ञानी और सुचेते। जय श्री गणेश भगवान। पतले पुत्रों और मित्रों के कधुव चारूपी वन से अत्यंतम अहत और भीर क्या हो कर्म तुम्हें रात्रि में उन सबको पूछे बना गया भन में चले गई थी। ए जय जय गणपति
जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय जय गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय जय गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय 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 गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति
One more time, everybody.
जय जय गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय जय।
प्रेम से बोले श्री गणेश भगवान की जय। So he tells to him, the great sage now tell to the king. He say, hey Rajan, he says in a city called Pipala, which was in the country far from Gaudadesh, you were previously a poor warrior who was undefiled and wise, terrible wounded. You know, all gave you up. Your friends gave you up. Your wife gave you up. Your children gave you up. You went in disgust into a dense forest without first consulting to anyone. Devotees and friends, I want to tell to you this evening, if you live in a situation that nobody cares about you, nobody pay heed to you, you like an unwanted being or an unwanted article into a house, can you be happy? Can you be happy? No, my dear friends. And that is how it says here, the great sage is telling. He says, you was a Kshatriya. You was a warrior. He said, but somehow you got a little bit defeated. You got weak. And because you got weak and you could not fight anymore. Says everyone abandon you. In our land today, in our day today, what is the battle that we have to fight? When the battle reaches, my dear friends, that we no more could provide because of probably health or because of probably all the downturn that is happening in our economy today. Instead of you all making comments and negative comments, make a positive comment by praying for the economy to rise once more. So my dear friends, when you cannot provide, this is what usually happens. They put you aside. They put you to wash the wares and to wash the clothes and all of that then. How long can you manage that when you know that when things were strong and things were well, you used to provide and used to provide so much in excess. Now that you cannot provide, they have dumped you in a corner. And this is what happened to this warrior in his, Raja Nal in his last life. He was a warrior. He could not fight anymore. He was wounded. It says his friends gave him up, his wife gave him up, his children gave him up, until he became very disgusted with life. And he went in the forest. He didn't tell nobody nothing. He just went into the forest, my dear friends. He went in the forest and he started walking into the deep part of the forest. He said that forest was filled with trees, lion, tigers, elephant, deers. There were places where there were cool water, aquatic plants, and many things in the forest. So my dear friends, he was now trying to pull himself together by finding peace in his life because all have rejected him. All have rejected him. And so, my dear friends, it says, whilst you were wandering here and there in the forest, you saw a little cottage, you saw a little ashram, you saw a little, and there was a great sage by the name of Kaunsika. Kaunsika was that receptacle of austerity. And so, my dear friends, that sage was resounded with the sounds of the Vedas being chanted. After entering there, you bow to the sage because your devotion for him. So, devotees and friends, here Gautama Rishi is telling to great Raja Nal, he said, although you were a warrior, although you were rejected by all, you did not lose your devotion. Today, my dear friends, when someone gets frustrated, what they go and they do? They raise their frustration more by using the few cents that they have to go and buy green bottle and all the other bottle that it have. So the green bottle here in Trinidad might be beer, and then later down it might be beer rum. This is what you do when you're frustrated. But hear what, my dear friends, a person who is frustrated, hear what he did. He never lost his devotion. He went into the forest and he keep his devotion there. He was never angry. And so, my dear friends, as he went there, he bowed to that great saint, Kaunsika. So, my dear friends, it says, being compassionate towards the poor and the helpless. And I want I want Ganesh and Nirav to listen to this. If you want to be a true Pandit and if you want to be a true leader, the first set of people that you have to be compassionate for is the poor and the helpless. Prem se bol Shri Ramchandra Bhagavan ki. Kaunsika made him very comfortable, my dear friends, after observing his distress. And so Kaunsika told to him, he says, Gajananang, the Lord of the gods, will bring good fortune to you. I want somebody to tell me, if you see somebody like this, what you going to tell them first thing? What would be your lines to them first thing? Nirav, what you might tell them first thing? All of us, most of all. Camille, what do you think we'll tell them, Gil? You hear Camille answer? You put yourself in that situation, get yourself out. Well then, my dear friends, this man go kill himself now. Because when he think help come in here now, I getting blamed now. I find myself in this situation. The man just became weak and he lost in the battle. How we could say the man find himself in that situation? The man never beat the wife, he never beat the children, he never do anything. The children and everybody rejected him. So my dear friends, this is what the great sage Kaunsika told to him. He says, my Gajananam, Kaunsika, the great sage, identified with Gajananam. We must identify with God. We must make ourselves feel that God is part of us. And if God is part of us, then that answer, Gil, would not be the answer that they will get. Because I must have faith in the God that I believe in. And my God will help you. I'm certain about that. And so, my dear friends, it says, after you had heard that benediction, you became very joyful and you became a gentleman. He says, when you heard the benediction of that great sage Kaunsika in the forest, who tell to you, my Gajananam will be, will grant in you great fortune. He says, you became very joyful. And so, my dear friends, the king, you ask the Brahmin about that way which will give you desire. You ask of him what will destroy your poverty, but most of all, what will give you liberation. And while you are here on earth, what will give you that enjoyment here in this world? And Kaunsika then told to him to worship Sri Ganesha. The great sage told to him, he says, worship Sri Ganesha. My dear friends, it tells to us here, Kaunsika says, Lord of men performed Ganesha's vow for just 1 month. Make a beautiful looking clay image of Ganesha. Then perform the rites according to the precept as mentioned before, and listen to a short story, a short katha every day for just a month. and you will then attain success. How much are you lost there already? He said for one consecutive month, you must listen, after you do the devotion of Sri Ganesha, you must listen to the Katha of Ganesha for 1 month every day. Today is how much day we hear, Dinesh? 4 days. And you know how much people came Sunday and they come Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday yet? But the devotion is that every day you should listen to the Katha of Ganesha for 1 month. We make it so easy that you come here once a month and do Satnarayan Katha, and yet still sometimes some of us will miss 4 and 5 months. And what the excuse will be? Huh? I went out, I couldn't reach back on time. Baba wasn't feeling good. I had a headache. You know how much monthly katha and how much Ganesh puja in the Chout, my dear friends. Baba does feel like before he come up the hill here, that I feel like I could get knocked out. I will take a shower and I reach up here bright and ready to give all the Ganesh Bhagwan's blessing. How much people recognize that? But this, my dear friends, this warrior, he recognized how important it is and what he did. Prem Sabale Sri Ganesha Bhagwan ki. I'll try my best to just tell to you now what happened. So it says here, he was recommended that just for 1 month, and this is 1 month every day, so it is 31 days. We are telling you in this Kali age to make it once a month. But to remain without the meat, fish, and eggs for 1 year, and that becomes difficult for you to do. We have some people waiting for Saturday evening. I might do the final puja on Saturday evening. Some people waiting for the final puja, whether it's Saturday evening or Sunday morning. Some people waiting for that. Munish? Anybody who in the fast check you out already? Oh, good, thank God. But they're watching somewhere else where the prices are how much? 3 for how much? 3 for $180 or 3 for $200. You know? Prem Sabale Shri Ram Chandra Bhagavan ki. Baba Raya was a long boy. And who find it joyful is because they had the bliss of Ganesha. Prem Sabale Shri Ram Chandra Bhagavan ki jai. So he says every day you must do the devotion and every day you must listen to the Katha of Ganesha for 1 month, which is 30 days. Because our calendar tells us about 15 days in the bright half and 15 days in the dark half. So it is 30 days altogether. Devotees and friends, when he heard this, the protector of the earth again questioned. Count Sika, the king said, I do not know this Gajananam. I do not know this Lord, O great sage. Describe this real appearance to me. And once I have known the Lord of the God of gods, I will perform that vow of the highest quality. When he had put, my dear friends, that very question to him in such a way, that excellent sage described to him the modification of his real form, which Gajananam was effected, this true form being indescribable, since it is that of the Supreme Being. Devotees and friends, you know, Kino Upanishads. Kino Upanishad tell to us, I was trying to remember which one of the Upanishads said, but it is in Kino Upanishad. It says that which words cannot describe, know that to be Brahman. That which words cannot describe. Prem Sabole Shri Ram Chandra Bhagavan ki. Tomorrow evening I will expand a little bit on that verse from Kino Upanishads, a wonderful sweet verse from the Kino Upanishads, telling to you, no matter how much you try to talk about God, you cannot finish talking about that power of God. But it is that God who will give you the words to talk whatever you have to talk. So devotees and friends, it says, He is the creator of all beings, their father and mother and the teacher of the world. And it is upon that very Gajanana that Brahma, Lord Indra, Vishnu and Shiva meditate. So this great sage is telling to this, this week, is no more week again, but he's a devotee now, very strong devotee. Tell to him, he said, listen, he said, this is the Lord that even Brahma, Lord Indra, the Lord of the Devatas, Vishnu Bhagwan, Shiva Bhagwan, all of them meditate upon him. It says here, after this, the sage is telling now to Nal, he say, after you had heard his speech and had bowed to the feet of the sage, he say he gave you leave and you went to your own home. Then on the fourth day, on the bright half of the month of Shravan, having begun that vow, which is of the highest order, you made an image of Ganesh Bhagwan out of clay, just as prescribed. And irrespective of whether you were standing, talking, whether you were silent, whether you were moving, sleeping, eating, you were meditating on that God, Gajanana. So it means that he was totally saturated in Gajanana. By the power of that vow, you became prosperous, endowed with male and female servant. You then gave gifts to everyone for the gratification of the gods, and you joyfully constructed a very valuable temple for Sri Ganesh. You constructed a valuable temple for Sri Ganesh. And I think Dharam Kawaj, that will happen one of these days, Shorter period than you might think. After you had experienced the happiness in the world, according to your karmic thing, it says, in time you died. And what it tells to us here, no matter what we have, who we are going to die one day. But what you die with, my dear friends, he said, then you were born in the Nishad country. You became the king named Nal. And from that time, permanent prosperity has befallen you, and you are praised by the people of the triple world. Allow me to go now, as what you asked have been answered. So after Gautama Rishi had gone, King Nal performed that vow. He was filled with confidence because of that speech. My dear friends, after constructing a very beautiful image herein of Ganesh Bhagwan, every day out of devotion to that one worthy of worship, he prayed to Sri Ganesh, प्रेम से बोले श्री गणेश भगवान की जय. So devotees and friends, here it shows to us, because in this Kali age we cannot hold 1 month, 30 days consecutive of the devotion. It is recommended in the Shiv Puran that from one Ganesh Utsav to the next Ganesh Utsav, you take the vrat. And what the vrat is? A vrat is a sacrifice. You do not live the normal way that you live. For that 1 year, my dear friends, all is being asked of you. Keep away from fish, meat, eggs, alcohol. And do your devotion. Do a little job every evening and come here once a month, the 4th day after the full moon, and do your Ganesh Puja. Prem se bole Shri Ram Chandra Bhagavan ki, Ganesha Bhagavan ki. So my dear friends, we see this evening how wonderful Ganesh Puja is and how intense his devotion is. How intense his devotion is. And how important it is to be in satsang. Prem se bole Shri Ram Chandra Bhagavan ki jai. I would ask Pandit Jai to do us one little song, and then we'll do our tea and close for this evening. Because I give you plenty words, and I didn't sing. So Pandit Jai will do that, and he would do what he have to do. He would say what he has to say.
Ganapataye Namah. After listening to the Nectarian discourse, that will take you direct into the Brahmananda, merging in oneness like the King Maharaja Nal. If you perform that vrata, vrata alone shall take care of all your suffering, pain, and all your karmic bandhan. It's only devotion could take you out of misery and trouble of the ocean. Rega rega ma pa dhani dhani sa re ga ma re. So let us glorify that Ganapati Ganesh Bhagwan. It don't make sense. Come listen to all the katha, and we don't implement and act. The japa is most important. Nam smaran, kirtanam. That will drive away and you'll make the new consciousness and record that new awareness within that subconscious mind of yours. Only through that. That is why mantras and prayer have been given. Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha.
Om Ganapataye Namaha.
Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Gajavarna Gananatha power, strength. Javarna Buddhi Pradayaka, Siddhi Pradayaka, Buddhi Pradayaka, Siddhi Pradayaka, Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Ganapate Srahastranayam, Atma Nivaranayam, Sheshanam Pavitram, Janma Karma Nivadanayam, Japa Kushum Ganapataye Nama Om. Vrata Kathanam Puja Arpanam Tuvyam Ganapataye Namaha. Gananatam Ganapativam Navamahi Priyanatam Priyavatigvam Navamahi Vasormamaham Jani Garvatam Ajavam Arisi Garvatam Gam Ganapataye Namah. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, 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 Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Ganapati Swarupam Sachidanandam, Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Gam Ganapataye Namo Namah, Om Gam Ganapataye Namo Namah, Om Gam Ganapataye Namo Namah, Om Gam Ganapataye Namo Namah. Krishna Pasida Ganapataye Namah, Aditra Ganapataye Namah, Ujjahista Ganapataye Namah, Bala Ganapataye Namah, Taruna Ganapataye Namah, Lakshmi Ganapataye Namah, Durga Sankata Haranam Ganapataye Namah. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, 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 Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Gam Ganapataye Namo Namah, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, 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 Om Gam Ganapataye Namo Namah, Om Gam Ganapataye Namo Namah, Om Gam Ganapataye Namo Namah. Call upon the God and He's ready to listen and to hear you. That's most of the time everyone come into Pulladu and they mouth quiet. When Gam Ganapate going on, God want to hear you, give you a mouth to speak. Not over the phone when somebody call you. A long, long conversation. And here you cannot have a relation with the divine when you come to make your arpan and your offerings. Why? But immediately when it's finished, you'll hear loud noise everywhere, everywhere. And you say you come to Ganapati, you wanted blessing, you wanted Ashirvad. No, my dear friend. No, my dear Bhakta. No, dear soul. Because in the Kali Yuga, everybody is sinking and going down. To rise yourself by the name of God shall take you to the highest pedestal and plane. Gam Ganapati Bhagwan ki jai. Baba, over to you.
Ganesh Bhagwan ki jai. We all please stand as we shall now have the cracking of the coconuts and arti. Om Sri Krishna Krishna Sagyaya Pavitya Mamasya Vidyar Pradesh Shrivala Kalipate Saptami Vaivas Manvantar Kalipatam Charane Jambu Dvipe West Indies Kande Arivatarike Desh Antargate Trinidad Desh Namo Narayanaye Namo Namaham Sri Gotra Namayam Sri Dehik Devik Bhautik Tapatra Nirvamartya Devi Graharishi Mani Madhava Om Sri Ganesha Bhagwan Ki Jai. Crack the coconut. Samukascha Ekadantascha Kapilogacha Karnaka Lambo Darascha Victo Viganasho Ganadipati Namaha Om Sri Ganesha Bhagwan Ki Jai. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Mata Tero Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Mata Tero Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Mata Tero Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Mata Tero Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Mata Tero Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Mata Tero Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Saduvan ka bhog lage sant kar seva. Saduvan ka bhog lage sant kar seva. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Mata Tero Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Mata Tero Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Mata Tero Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Mata Tero Parvati Pita Mahadeva. एकदंत धायवंत चार भुज धारे. एकदंत धायवंत चार भुज धारे. मस्तक सिंदूर सोहे मुसकी ये सवारी. जय गणेश, जय गणेश, जय गणेश देवा. माता तेरो पार्वती पिता महादेवा. माता तेरो पार्वती पिता महादेवा. जय गणेश, जय गणेश, जय गणेश देवा. माता तेरो पार्वती पिता महादेवा. माता तेरो पार्वती पिता महादेवा. और चढ़ावे पूछ चढ़ावे और चढ़ावे मेवा. और चढ़ावे फूल चढ़ावे और चढ़ावे मेवा. कि भजन के पुत्र देख निर्धन को माया. जय गणेश, जय Sharanam Ganesh, Sharanam Ganesh,
Sharanam Ganesh, Sharanam Ganesh,
Parvati Nandana Shri Ganesh,
Parvati Nandana Shri Ganesh,
Gauri Ganesh,
Umamani, Parvati Nandana Shri Ganesh, Gauri Ganesh, Umamani, Nandana Shri Ganesh.
Ganganapate Namo Namah, Siddhi Vinayaka Namo Namah,
Ashtavinayaka Namo Namah, Ganapati Baba Moria. Ganapate Namo Namah, Siddhi Vinayaka Namo Namah, Ashtavinayaka Namo Namah, Ganapati Baba Moria. Ganapate Namo Namah, Siddhi Vinayaka Namo Namah, Ashtavinayaka Namo Namah, Ganapati Baba Moria.
Om Gam Ganapate Namo Namah, Siddhi Vinayaka Namo Namah, Ashtavinayaka Namo Namah, Ganapati Baba Moria. Om Gam Ganapate Namo Namah, Siddhi Vinayaka Namo Namah,
Ashtavinayaka Namo Namah, Ganapati Baba Moria. Om Gam Ganapate Namo Namah, Siddhi Vinayaka Namo Namah, Ashtavinayaka Namo Namah, Ganapati Baba Moria.
Ganapate Namo Namah,
Siddhi Vinayaka Namo Namah, Ashtavinayaka Namo Namah, Ganapati Baba Moria.
Bambole 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 Re, Shiva Bambole Re, Shiva Bambole Re.
Bambole 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 Re, Shiva Bambole Re, Shiva Bambole Re.
कोई चरावे पान फूल, कोई चरावे माला,
कोई चरावे पान फूल, कोई चरावे माला,
कोई चरावे पान फूल, कोई चरावे माला,
कोई चरावे पान फूल, कोई चरावे माला।
कोई मंगन मांग रही गोरेले बाला मेरे
बम्बोले रे, बम्बोले 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 रे, शिवा बम्बोले रे, शिवा बम्बोले रे।
बम्बोले 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 रे, शिवा बम्बोले रे, शिवा बम्बोले रे। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता तेरो पार्वती पिता महादेवा, माता तेरो पार्वती पिता महादेवा।
जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा।
माता तेरो पार्वती पिता महादेवा,
माता तेरो पार्वती पिता महादेवा।
जय गणेश जय गणेश
देवा।
माता तेरो पार्वती पिता
महादेवा, माता तेरो पार्वती पिता महादेवा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा। माता तेरो पार्वती पिता महादेवा, माता तेरो पार्वती पिता महादेवा।
जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता तेरो पार्वती पिता महादेवा, माता तेरो पार्वती पिता महादेवा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा,
माता तेरो पार्वती पिता महादेवा, माता तेरो पार्वती पिता महादेवा।
all chant along. जय गणेश जय गणेश जय
जय गणेश देवा माता तेरो पार्वती पिता महादेवा माता तेरो पार्वती पिता महादेवा
जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा माता तेरो पार्वती पिता महादेवा माता तेरो पार्वती पिता जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा
माता तेरो पार्वती पिता महादेवा माता तेरो पार्वती पिता महादेवा
ओम असतो मा सद्गमया तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमया मृत्योरमा अमृतं गमया ॐ त्वमेव मातं च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुं च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्यां द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव ॐ शान्ति ॐ शान्ति ॐ शान्ति ॐ शान्ति ॐ शान्ति ॐ शान्ति ओम श्री गणेश भगवान की शंकर भगवान की आदि शक्ति पार्वती देवी माता की सनातन धर्म की ओम श्री गुरुदेवता की जय जय सीताराम. All please have your seat. Arti and prasad will come to you and your meals will reach to you also. Prem se bole Sri Ramchandra Bhagwan ki jai. Ganesha Bhagwan ki jai. Sitaram to all. See you all tomorrow evening again as we continue with our wonderful discussion on Sri Ganesh. Tomorrow evening again will be another wonderful katha, and I'll do katha again tomorrow and bring the philosophy out of those katha. Prem se bole Sri Ganesha Bhagwan ki jai.
Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh. Jai Ganesh, 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 Jai Ganesh. Jai Ganesh, 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 Jai Ganesh,
Sound 1, 1, 2.
Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh. Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh,